Hello and welcome to another episode of the Natural State Update. I'm Christina Munoz. We start today with a reminder about your property taxes. You actually get 2 extra days to pay your property taxes this year since the 15th falls on a Saturday, but they must be paid by October 17th to avoid a late fee. Speaking of important dates, Arkansas's general election is less than a month away. Early voting begins October 24th, and Election Day is, of course, November 8th. And today, October 11th, is actually the last day to register to vote in order to participate in the November election. And if you're not familiar with the candidates, I'd like to invite you to watch several upcoming debates on Arkansas PBS. Candidates in 9 statewide races will participate in debates which will live stream on YouTube and air live on Arkansas PBS daily between October 17th and the 21st. Debates will also be rebroadcast during prime time beginning October 17th and will be available on their YouTube channel. All debates will be held at Reynolds Performance Hall on the UCA campus, and I will actually be the moderator for these debates. If you'd like to attend or to see the whole debate schedule, go to myarkansaspbs.org. On to our top stories for this episode. Most metropolitan areas have a professional symphony orchestra, but to have one in the city of Conway, just 30 miles north of the Little Rock Metro, is truly unique. Here's more on the Conway Symphony Orchestra. Israel Getzov, better known as Izzy, started playing the violin at age 3.
And I remember when I was 15 or 16 saying to myself, I think I'd like to try being a conductor. And, I just followed that professional path, and here I am today.
Originally from Chicago, Izzy has been in Arkansas for more than 2 decades and is now in his 18th season as the conductor of the Conway Symphony Orchestra.
That's what's such a great thing about Conway. It's a community that's growing, and we all know it's a wonderful place to live here. But we really feel like one of the growth areas is arts. And we've been a part of that now for 35, 37 seasons with the Conway Symphony. And we feel like it's our job to make Conway an exciting place to live by producing all these shows.
And that's exactly what they do. The Conway Symphony Orchestra offers an entire season of performances that are as varied and diverse as the orchestra itself.
The Conway Symphony is a unique mix of the top professional musicians from all around the state, plus the top music students from University of Central Arkansas, which is the top music school in the state. So you get like this 20-year-old kid sitting with this like 65-year-old guy, and the 65-year-old guy has played this piece of music 100 times and might even be a little jaded about it, and the 20-year-old kid might be a little spazzy, but he's so enthusiastic about the first time. And when you put 2 elements together, I mean, it's like a movie. You see them rubbing off on each other, and the music that's made in that situation, it's so passionate, it's priceless.
For the musicians, playing music, teaching music, and learning music is not just what they do, it's a way of life.
You're searching for beauty, and you're trying to maximize that for fun, but you're also dealing with uncomfortable emotions, and how do you work through that? And of course you have to build up a technique on an instrument, and you have to learn your scales and your arpeggios, but once you've mastered a facility technically, you really can learn about history and character and storytelling and so many things, and it's very cathartic to be a part of.
And even if you've never been to a symphony concert before, there's a place for you in their audience.
This is a great time to come. We are opening our new concert hall in March over at the Wingate Center for Fine and Performing Arts. There are not a lot of seats in that hall. It's a beautifully designed acoustical space, but it's going to sell out. So please get your tickets early. That is going to be a big event to christen that space in Central Arkansas. It's a big deal to have a brand new hall like that. So, and we give a free concert in the park every year. We give a Christmas concert. We send our musicians into school. in many different programs. You might even see a string quartet playing on the corner in downtown Conway.
For more information or to buy tickets, visit conwaysymphony.org. A Little Rock man in search of his birth mother discovers a tombstone with a mysterious flower arrangement, which leads to the discovery of family members that he did not know even existed. Documentarian Patrick Green follows along to capture this story of unification.
Hey! For me?
Yes.
I'm Clark. I'm from Little Rock. This is my sister Laquita, and she's from Muskogee.
And we met about 3 years ago.
Short story is I wrote a letter. She got the letter, and she called me, and we didn't even know each other existed.
It was very sweet. He just asked her if anyone knew any information to please contact Clark.
About 5 or 6 years ago, my daughter Morgan and I, we toured Oklahoma, and we stayed at Durant, Oklahoma, which is the headquarters of the Choctaw Nation. We put a request for information on Mary Magdalene Jackson, whom is our mother, and their Bisnick newspaper. And I forgot about it because it was 5 or 6 years ago, and then recently we got a call from a cousin, and we're going to meet her today. We've never met her either, and she has a lot of information on our mother. After a period of time, I located the gravesite of my mother, and when I visited in Poto, I had noticed that there was a nice flower arrangement, and that puzzled me, and because it was pretty fresh, pretty new. So I went up to the headquarters of the gravesite, met a gentleman by the name of Rocky, and mentioned it to him, and he told me that there were always nice flower arrangements there. So after I left, I pondered that one. Somebody's going to a lot of trouble to do that. So over a period of time, I came back and gave him a letter and said, when this person comes to change that floral arrangement, make sure one of your employees comes and gets you and give them this letter. Months went by. Matter of fact, I kind of forgot about it. And then one day I got a phone call. I'll never forget it. She's asking me a lot of, curious questions, and I'm going, what is this? She said, I got your letter, and I went, what letter? She said something about, I'd completely forgotten about it, and she goes, I'll never forget, you said, are you sitting down? I said, I'm lying down. I was about to take a nap, and she said, no, I'm your sister, and that was a stunner. At best, I'd hope to maybe find a cousin or something. I didn't even know I had any brothers and sisters, and yeah, I was still emotional just to tell when I tell you about it.
I brought the letter that Clark's left at the cemetery for me that Rocky gave to me, and also brought some information that Clark has gathered. He's gathered a lot more information than I have.
And a lot of this stuff came from people who were just pouring their hearts out as they came to know a little bit about the story.
I am Janet Taylor. I am from Greenwood, Arkansas. I am in Roland, Oklahoma to meet some relatives that I did not know about.
And I think what I'm looking forward to is I met a lady not too long ago that was adopted, and she met her birth family at a reunion, and she said, you just don't know what it means to sit down and look around the room and people look like you.
It's kind of like a connection to her. She has been passed away for several years. Oh gosh, I'll get emotional here. We didn't know about them, and actually nobody in the family knew about them, and I am going to meet them and see what we have in common.
I have no expectations. I just am thrilled to connect with someone else.
And so we're just hoping to make friends, really. I don't know how Clark feels, but This must be Janet.
Thank you so much for coming.
It is very nice to meet you.
Hi, Janet.
Good to meet you.
And we have some flowers for you.
I got those.
Please.
She's the flower lady, believe me.
Make me tear up.
This is the letter that Clark left at the cemetery. This is what started all this business. Clark, would you like to read it?
Sure. I hadn't seen this in a while. March 9th, 2018. To whom it may concern, you may or may not know that Mary Magdalene Jackson had a son born 1/6/1959. My name is Clark G. Benton, and I am he. I feel like you may know something about Mary's life. I'm asking you to please contact me if you're willing to provide any information at all. Any information provided will be kept totally confidential. It is only for my personal knowledge. And I signed it, Clark G. Benton, Little Rock, Arkansas. Yeah,
I
that
think this letter had been at the cemetery for about a year, though, I think.
had it really?
Yeah.
That's why I didn't remember.
He gave me the letter, and I opened it right then and read it out loud.
Now, these are pictures of her.
Oh, yeah. Let me see this.
She gave me a baby shower, and this is at the baby shower. And
Oh.
Which
Where
one
are-
is
where are
she?
you?
Is she in the
I don't
in
know.
the white, the
I'm actually
navy?
not. Yes, that's her.
That's her. Yeah.
This color come out of a can.
Oh, came out of a can.
Every time she got dressed, and it was in a little can about like this, and she would spray that on her hair.
To get that color? Well, my goodness. Now, I know whenever I asked her about who my dad was, she wouldn't tell me who he was, but she did say that he was tall. And that's where I got my height, because I was quite a bit taller than she was, and had long fingers. Because she looked at my hands and she said, "Yeah, you have your dad's hands."
But she wouldn't tell you who.
But she wouldn't tell me who it was.
Oh.
Said she wanted to talk to him first about it, so he was still alive. At
Oh,
that
really?
time,
What year was that?
I was 40, so that's 30 years ago.
I think he looks like Arlene's son, Chris. Really, he do. In fact, sitting here just looking at you makes me kind of feel like I'm talking to him.
Wow.
And
Wonder what that's all about.
And he's what, 66
6.
years old?
He's 5 or 4 years older than me. These kind of things kind of take me a little while to soak them all in. I'm always glad to see Quita.
Yeah. I think it's kind of mind-boggling a little bit to really find family besides us, and kind of opens the doorway for me to keep on searching and seeing if maybe we have another sibling out there somewhere.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of questions that need to be answered, or we would like to have answers to, but we may not ever find them.
Seeing her with her family, I think, was a joy to me, and you could kind of see some of her personality come out in some of those pictures, and I enjoyed that. I think we both kind of see ourselves in some of the pictures and some of the stories. So,
She's kind of tough.
yeah.
Yeah, I understand. It makes me understand myself a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. I understand more about where I come from now, and that's kind of peaceful.
Yes, well put.
Yeah.
I am extremely glad that I came, and I wish that a couple more cousins could have joined us.
The people who adopted me, my mother and dad, they're my mama and daddy. Mary did give birth to me and made it possible for me to be here and enjoy the life I enjoy.
Matter of fact, this whole journey has made me appreciate my parents even more. Every day I've been given a great life.
What a great story. Thank you to Patrick Green. Clark and his sister Lakita are now planning a trip to California, where they suspect another possible sibling could be located. This story was brought to you by Green Media. To learn more about their services, log on to greenmediamanagement.com or follow along at #GreenMediaManagement. Are you or a loved one nearing retirement age and concerned about when to actually retire? If so, Scott Inman has some words of wisdom for you or your loved one.
The turbulent market of 2022 has made a real retirement risk more tangible. What is sequence risk, and how not planning around it could crater your retirement in this week's Fastest 4 Minutes in Finance. Hello again, and thank you for checking out this week's Fastest 4. A recent study by the Nationwide Retirement Institute says 40% of U.S. workers 45 and over are delaying retirement over inflation and the rising cost of living. They fear that they don't have enough money to last them through retirement. Inflation risk is real. Retirees have to have a plan to increase their income throughout retirement. However, if workers are worried if they should delay retirement, there's another risk they may be ignoring. Sequence risk is not as clearly understood, but it is just as real as inflation risk. Sequence of returns risk is the danger that a market downturn at the same time that a retiree begins taking withdrawals from their investment portfolio may accelerate the depletion of that portfolio. There's a recent report from a team of researchers at Vanguard Group that highlights this danger. The details were part of a recent article from Financial Advisor magazine. The researchers looked at what would have happened to retirees who invested the exact same way, but simply retired at different times. They compared those who retired during or near 6 major U.S. bear markets with those who retired into bull markets. In each case, the retiree was invested in a 50-50 mix of stocks and bonds that was rebalanced monthly. They all entered retirement with $500,000 and planned to withdraw 5% of it per year. Those who retired into a bear market, on average, were 31% more likely to outlive their money, had 11% lower income streams, and left 37% less to their heirs. The difference can be as close as choosing to retire 1 year later. In one example, a person who retired in 1973 during a severe bear market decline ran out of money after 23 years, compared to a person who retired in 1974. Just a year later, at the end of that bear market, they still had $125,000 after 35 years. Obviously, a retiree can't know what kind of market he or she is retiring into. So how do they prepare? Well, they could lower their income during downturns in the market. They could invest more conservatively. But keep in mind, in these hypothetical examples, the retiree had half of their portfolio in bonds. That would not have saved them in 2022. The 60-40 portfolio has had one of its worst returns ever this year. And if a retiree gets too conservative, they'll have a very difficult time battling inflation risk. We believe the way to tackle all retirement risks is to plan. Develop a written retirement income plan that expects a bear market, but continues to expect predictable, guaranteed income for your basic life expenses, coupled with an investment strategy for additional income, illustrated definitively, on paper, on purpose, month by month, year by year, for the rest of your life. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Scott. And our encouraging word for this episode comes from my daughter's devotional today, Isaiah 1:19. If you are willing and obedient, you shall eat the best of the land. For the Natural State Update, I'm Christina Munoz.